Alright guys, I'm heading to lunch, going to grab me some sushi. Figured we could talk about another episode of Tales from the Blacktops of some stuff that happened to me in my time in the military. And talk about Lucifer and the Major. So, I reclassed from a combat engineer to a forward observer / fire support specialist, field artillery. One of those crazy dudes that goes behind enemy lines and calls in artillery strikes and air strikes and naval strikes. And my first duty assignment as a fister was Fort Polk, Louisiana, with the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment. So initially I was supposed to go to one of the gun batteries, one of the squadrons, and last minute in processing I get a visit from a E5 and a Spec 4 or specialist, and I was a young specialist, a part of the E4 Mafia, as you will. And they said, hey, we're from headquarters troop, yep, HHE, headquarters element, which means I was right at the top of the regiment as far as the unit goes, the squadron, as you will. So we oversaw all the squadron gun batteries, their 13 Bravos and their 13 Foxtrots and their 13 Echoes. And they said, hey, we're pulling you, you're coming with us. And so I was like, all right. Wasn't much I could do about it anyway. So reason why they pulled me is because there was another E4 that was fixing to leave, go to the 25th ID, which is in Hawaii. Lucky son of a bitch. And well, they needed another one, so they pulled me. And this guy, Specialist Flores, he was the Major's driver. So, Major Plumber. Yep, not kidding. He was a Major Plumber. So anyway, I became his driver. Well, I was hand-me-down a pristine Humvee, and I'll see if I can find a picture of the similar one that I drove in here. But the name of this said Humvee was Lucifer. And why do you call it Lucifer, you wonder? Well, according to Specialist Flores, this Humvee would go anywhere. There we are, the sushi place. So, actually I won't park up front. So, yeah, so this Humvee pretty much would go through anything he told me. And I did everything in my power to verify that this thing, well, if you want to know, this Scout will take off in second gear. So I tried everything in my power to make sure that this thing would live up to its name. But I'm gonna go eat, and we will continue this story in a little bit. All right, so back to it, and why our truck was named Lucifer. So when Specialist Flores left, I became the driver of the truck. and the major. So there was multiple times when we went out to the field and Lucifer was proven would go through any freaking mud pit, pretty much any incline, anything that we threw at it, that sucker would go through it. There was one time in particular, we were going to a gun battery, and we were going to a firing position. And normally they had like sentries out that kind of marked where kind of like the entry was into these firing positions. And we had a brand new E6 into our section. And one of my E7s, he just came down on orders to go to Panama. So we were going out to the field, kind of showing them what we do when it comes to the OCing gun batteries or observing, controlling. Basically how you graded a gun battery on their speed and accuracy on completing a fire mission. So we were rolling up and the sentries were standing in basically the wrong spot. I just was rolling. Everything's brushed pretty much, and I hit a ditch where the front of the front of the Humvee just smacked basically into a freaking wall of clay. And for those of you that haven't been in the military or inside of a military Humvee, you're basically on a steel box with like a 1-inch cushion, and there's steel beams in front of you, like if you're in the back seat in front of you where the seats bolt to, the front two seats bolt to. So my E6 slammed his shins up against this bar in between behind the passenger seat. And it was all, I felt so freaking bad. And because there's the seat belts in these things they're non-existent. They're like a lap belt. They're like old 70s you know, car style. And man, I threw that sucker in reverse and we were right back out of it. No damage to the Humvee, luckily. A little damage to my pride. Felt like an idiot. And of course, you know, I damaged my E6, my staff sergeant. And so we ended up going to Arkansas, to Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, which is the site of where part of the Tuskegee Airmen was filmed. We happened to be out there one time when they were filming it. So anyway, we'd go out to the field in Arkansas, clay, mud, it's nasty. And of course the paint on Humvees is not like the paint on a car. It's not smooth, it's not clear coated. It is completely nasty. It's like porous, and that's basically kind of like an anti-radar. So we were up there for like 2 weeks, and at the end of your field exercises, you would come out of the field and you go into these huge wash racks, like water cannons and things where you would wash your vehicles, get the mud off the best you could. And especially if you're putting them on rail, like you got to have them pretty clean. So we were out in the field, and we had some hellacious rain. And I remember my major looked over to me, and he was just kind of like, we'd already gone out and come back in. So I'd already run through the wash rack once, and let me tell you, okay, Officers do not get freaking dirty. They do not get wet. Good luck, right? It's your truck. It's theirs when they're in it. It's yours when it's dirty. So we had to go back out again, I guess, to observe another gun battery. And I just remember before we went, he basically told me, like, hey, I don't want you getting this truck dirty again. And so you need to take it easy, because I'm telling you, dude, I loved this thing through mud and everything. It was amazing. You weren't stopping it. Well, we went, and I remember I told him, he told me to take it easy. Well, you know how it is when you go through mud. Like, you just don't go through slow, because that's how you're going to get stuck. Excuse me, my lunch is coming, getting a little gasified here. So we went back out. Okay, he tells me this, and we come up to this mud puddle. There's no way around it. Like, we have to go through it. It wasn't really deep. It was kind of long. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 yards long. So I guess not like super, super long. But I remember him telling me, he's like, don't get my truck dirty again. And I just remember, I told him, I said, look, sir, if I go slow through this thing and I get stuck, you're getting out and you're pushing me. And he kind of looked at me and just gave me a nod, like, all right, proceed on. We started going through that sucker, and I'm not kidding, man. I made it like halfway through, and poof, we stuck. And I said, sir, I'm sorry, but we stuck. And remember what I said? So no crap. I mean, this is something like never happens, right? My major gets out of the Humvee and proceeds to find, something to shove up underneath the wheels for traction so we can get traction. And it worked. I shot mud on him. I got the truck mud. Well, we got out of there, and I told him, when we were done, I said, sir, I'm sorry, but I told you, if we get stuck, that's the price we're going to pay for you trying to keep this truck clean. And he never, ever doubted me again when it came to Lucifer in the field. But we had some good times in that truck. And I swear, like, for those of you that have been deployed or, been on a field exercise and are like a track driver or a crew member, a Humvee driver, a crew member, I'm not gonna exaggerate this, but some of the best damn sleep I've had was sitting in my truck, pass out in the driver's seat, just cutting logs. It's pretty, man, like I said, it was pretty amazing. The worst feeling though was after when you wake up and you are sticky from sweating in your sleep and just spending in the humidity and the climates. But so guys, that's pretty much gonna do it on this episode of Tales from the Blacktop. And this has been Lucifer and the Major. So if you liked the video, go ahead, hit that like button. If you're not already, please subscribe to that. Hit that bell notification. And remember, rock on.